this video, we've got rallying apparently at the Nurburgring in Subaru WRXs. We revisit the Chicane of Death, which has many victims in daily race C, some very close racing, and a 10-lap sprint at Watkins. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Gran Turismo weekly race guide here in 2025. Week number 9, and this week, well, we have my worst nightmare for daily race A. We're at the Green Hell, and as you know, I do not like this circuit. That doesn't mean you're not allowed to like it. You know, feel free. You like it. Some people love it. It's absolutely fine. I just dislike it. But don't worry, the scores will not be biased in any way, shape, or form, because that's why I use the structured one. Now, we're in the Subaru WRX, the 2004 car there that you can see in the background, and we're doing one lap here at the Nurburgring. It's a grid start, comfort soft tyres, and that is all you need to know about this daily race. Of course, there isn't going to be a guide this week on daily race A. I will link to the old guide that I've done here at the Green Hell, just because otherwise the video would be an hour long, and most people do know it that like the Green Hell already. However, I will put some tips in there. So, timestamps there for daily race B and race C respectively, if you want to jump to those, and the bloopers, because you don't normally see a blooper timestamp except at the bottom, but you can see that this time with no daily race A guide. Now, in terms of the key statistics for this circuit, we've used this track 3 times in terms of just the Nordschleife. Track car combo never used, which means it's not in the top 10 used combos. We last used this track on the 11th of November 2024. In terms of issues, it does have a lot of weight transfer, this car, it really does, and because it's a large lap, you will see more mistakes, because obviously people can't practice the whole lap, so expect more crashes, expect more people missing their braking markers, and just understeering into you. It will happen. Bad driving happens. I do it all the time. You're going to see some bad driving from me this week, I'm sure, in terms of this video. But let's jump into this first race, and let's see how good or bad the daily race actually is. Right, the first race, here we go. We got Sammy Snake on pole position. As you can see, only 3 people set a lap there because it's a very long lap, you know, to try and get that in between races. It's very hard. Grid start without the false start check. Okay, so you can just foot to the floor, off you go. You don't even need traction control because the Subaru is all-wheel drive. Oh, yes, it is. Right, we're going to head towards turn number 1, hit the brakes and go into here. And this is where you instantly feel the argy-bargy in terms of actually being a boat, the barge. Is what I was trying to say. Not the argy-bargy of Rubbings Racing. That's a little bit later on, eventually, if you catch up to anybody. Through the right we go then, and you can see there, line astern, as we continue through this first sector here at the Nurburgring. Hitting the brakes then, looking to slow the car down. You can see the wiggle there of the car, trying to control that weight transfer. Huggy's got into the barrier there, so we're going to get a free position. Thank you, Huggy. And good comeback on there as well. And Lady Tish makes an appearance down in that bottom left-hand side, looking out for the cat. We continue a bit later on here. Of course, this is the highlights of the race. We look to catch up to Blue Racer then as we head in towards this right-hander, slowing it down nicely. Now, it looks like Hanson Frank went a little bit deep there. Blue Racer on the inside. I'm looking to capitalize as well as we leave this corner side by side. Then the foxhole is very difficult to do too wide, but I'm leaving room on the left, and Frank is leaving room for me on the right. And there we go. Frank, I'm not sure whether lost it a little bit there or let it go. I'm not too sure, but even so, we are now up into P5 as we continue to the foxhole. So in we go then. Again, look at the car. All over the place is what we can say there as we go into the right-hander. And we're going to fast forward a little bit here then. Just get to the racing action as we go in towards the left-hander here. And then it's the next one. And we slow the car down. Blue Racer there. A little bit of a wiggle as we continue on through here. Goes over towards the right-hand side. Just gets a little bit of a wiggle out. 4 wheels on the grass. That does mean dirty tyres. We try and go down the inside. Blue Racer's going sideways right now as we continue on through here. Up into P4 we go then. And what we're going to do now is actually advance a bit further on in this race. This is arguably the back straight. I can't remember exactly what this is called, but look at Blue Racer behind. Look at the slipstream. Just having the slipstream going uphill here. You're going to the highest point of the circuit. Just goes clean on by does Blue Racer. I'm also in the wrong gear, believe it or not. And I will talk about gears at the very end of this. I've got an example from the lap 1 leaderboard at the time. But you need to be in the right gear. And I'm over revving the car right now. You definitely need to short shift this car. So just keep that in mind. Up ahead then, we've got somebody else off there. That's Metal Lake Racer into the barrier. And you can see here, they're going to try and come back on very nice and cautiously. Good sportsmanship there from Metal Lake Racer. I appreciate that as we go into this right-hander side by side. And gives me room with dirty tyres, which is exceptionally hard to do. So big well played to you there. So we advance further on here then towards the end of the lap now before we get on to the Dossinger straight and look up ahead. Well, you can see 2 people understeer off, so just be careful of understeer on that last corner as we head onto this straight. Now, Blue Racer's got a penalty. Now, 1 second penalty on here is like having a 10-second penalty, basically. Look at that. You can see Blue Racer's going to drop off the face of the earth. And I'm over-revving the car. I said that just before. I'm really over-revving it at this moment in time. But as we come into here, just be careful. I thought I'd show you this one. Notice braking in a straight line, trying to avoid some of the craziness. You can see a bit of oversteer. Sammy Snake decides to come in the pits. I'm not sure why, but even so, Sammy Snake is in there now. And Max Power looking to go through the final corner and potentially take the lead. We'll see Sammy Snake in the pits. As Max Power does do it then, I'm going to head towards the line. And it's going to be very close, but Sammy Snake just gets there in the end. And I come home in P3. So yeah, I'm not brutally, I don't really like the Nurburgring, but even so, it's a 6 out of 10 there. You can see that. For those that are wondering about the details of the score, that's all down below in a comment or a pinned comment. Unless you see this very quickly as it gets released, then obviously it'll be a bit later on. So I wanted to show you here Nurburgring, who is currently rank 1 at the time. So you can see here, they lead the mini carousel, and they're not going to change gear here. So obviously you want to avoid changing gear too much if you're not going to, or if you're going to get to a corner and hit the brakes. So they stayed in 4th gear. If you're going to stay in the gear, stay in that gear. But as we go through this right-hander, look there, short shift. Look where Nurburgring's shifting. It's just as he sees the red on the bar. We wait for it to appear. Where's it going to come? It's about to come on and enter 6th gear. So that's where you change, okay? That's going to be it for Daily Race A then. We're going to jump to Daily Race B straight away here. We're in Group 3. Well, look at that for a shot. Group 3, Dragontrail, Seaside. If you hadn't already guessed that, turn number 1 right there. What exactly are we doing? Oh, we're doing 5 laps here. It's a rolling start on racing medium tyres, and you can adjust that brake balance if you see fit to do so. And of course, I will show you my brake balance later on when I take you on a lap guide of the Seaside circuit. Now, there's some issues at this circuit. We all know one of them there. The chicane of death is, of course, an issue. And curbs can be lethal as well. We have used this track 7 times, only twice for this track and car combo, which I found very surprising, if I'm brutally honest with you. And when they last used Seaside on the 16th of December. That's all you need to know for this circuit. What we're going to do is jump into the race. And the car I chose is the Toyota Supra because it's unbelievably quick in a straight line. Even more so now, the season's coming up. Right, here we are with the second race then. A mixture of cars here, but the Supra is definitely the dominant car that you want to be in for this race. If you do enjoy this video, as always, do give it a like, do subscribe to the channel, stay in touch with all the latest content. But we kick off 5 laps here at Seaside. How many victims are we going to see? Well, that's the big old question. First up, though, turn number 1. This could be a bit of a sketchy corner, to be honest with you. So I'm going to go hard on the brakes here, slowing the car down. We go a little bit deep there, nearly into the back of Max Power as we continue through that right-hander then and out of the corner. We've actually lost the pack a little bit. Mario Sonic behind, also in the Toyota Supra. I'm going to head towards this kink, which can be dangerous. I've seen lots of cars die there by clipping the inside, and we have to dart out the way of Max Power there, down the inside. We do make the corner though, and remember, you can send it as long as you make the apex. That's my rule of thumb, and Max Power noticed that as well, was very aware, and actually gets back past that Porsche extremely fast at accelerating out of that corner. Through the Dragontrail S's we go then, as we go into the right and then the left. And we are very much in a pack of cars here. Dutchy up ahead there in the Elka. Oh, somebody's gone off the circuit. I did not see who that was. They're in an Alfa Romeo, though. We're down the left-hand side here. Going to go hard on the brakes. Round the outside of Blue Racer as well in that BMW. Trying to go around the outside of Dutchy as well. We don't quite do it, but we did gain some positions there. Blue Racer and Max Power lost out. And we're up into P9 then. So the first time visiting the chicane of death. What's going to happen here? Through the left we go. Slight left. Accelerate on. Oh, there's one. And that scared the living daylights out of me. But we survived. We clipped the barrier there, though. Dutchy did as well. Blue Racer didn't. Look at this. In the BMW. Down the inside there. 3 wide heading towards the last corner. And Blue Racer looking to get the job done then in that BMW. Round, round, round we go. Does it get it done? Yes, it does. Sideways on the exit as well. But continues on through there. So we're up into P7. Not too bad of a start from us. 2 victims already at that chicane of death. Trust me, there's going to be more. Now, I'm going to go for the move here just because I'm in that Toyota Supra. It's so fast in a straight line. It really is at the moment. Now, you're probably going, well, Tidge, why is it so much better now than normal? Well, it's always been good, but we're heading in towards an official season. They are the partner. There's always this whole thing of the Supra being better than ever for the official season. I'm just putting it out there. It does happen. So into the S's we go then here for the second time. We're going to go in towards the right. A little bit of a bounce there. It does force some understeer. In towards the left we go. Another bounce. Heads us off the circuit into the gravel. And I have no idea how I caught that, but I did. And I was actually quite impressed with myself, to be honest with you, as you saw my reaction there. Blue Racer back up into P6 there. A little bit of oversteer as we go through here for the next time of asking. Any deaths? Oh, looks like a mini one there for Alpine Star. Well, we'll take that position. Back up into P6 we go then. on lap number 2. And we actually advanced to lap number 4. We didn't really see much action there as we head in towards turn number 1. Now, Blue Racer had been getting all sorts of votes there. Speaking of which, got a little bit of a weird bump there. We get a better exit here, side by side with Blue Racer then, as we head towards the kink. Now, this corner, you never want to do side by side. Blue Racer sees that, backs out of it because I'm on the inside there and is going to live to fight another day as we go into this right-hander. So we're up into P5 now. Bold Ben up ahead. Let's see if we can catch up to Bold Ben. So we get to the end of lap number 4. Blue Racer stayed in touch with me then through that chicane. And we start this final lap. TCR Kemp leading the way. Well played, Kemp! Yes, leading it for TCR as we head towards turn 1. Blue Racer looking down the inside here. We're going to try side by side in towards turn 1. This is possible. This is very much possible. It's very hard to get somebody clean to do it with though. But well played, Blue Racer. Absolutely superb stuff there. Good sportsmanship. Good racing. Exactly what we want to see. Well, we head towards the chicane of death, eh? And purple as well. So we're going to have to go for this then as we go through the first part. And then we go into the second part. Notice that lift there. The curb bounces me up. And I go for a bit of a death. And Marasonic joins me. Thank you, Marasonic. I appreciate that. But engine damage here as well. I'll try and get out of the way as quick as I can as we continue on here then. And we're going to have a drag race. 2 engine damaged cars as we head towards the last corner. But you can see my reaction there. You've got to laugh this off if you do become a victim of the chicane. You all will be a victim at some point of that chicane. It is very deadly, that corner. But even so, that's the end of the race. I finished way down the order, and I did have some good racing in there. 6.5 out of 10 is the score that we've given this one for this week. I think it's a pretty good race, to be honest with you. The chicane seems deadlier than normal, or at least before some of the patches, so we'll have to see how we go. Right, the lap guide then. You can see in the bottom right, my brake bounce well, +3 here as we head towards turn number 1. Now, what I'm using for turn number 1 is on the left-hand side. There's the orange painted barrier. It's a really good brake marker, this, okay? So when that hits the edge of your screen, you're going to hit the brakes. Most cars are going to use the same brake marker, okay? And I want you to brake in a straight line. Don't veer anywhere. Brake in a straight line all the way down. Then start to release the brakes as turn in. Avoid getting on the inside of these curbs in the Supra because it will bounce you off. Some cars can handle it. The Supra definitely can't. Be careful on exit as well. You will suffer some power oversteer as the rear of the car gets slide. Towards this kink then, you might want to slightly lift here. That's the tiniest of lifts for me. And then your brake marker is either of these, okay? So you've got the start of the grass or the end of the grass. Now you want to use either one of these, maybe even in the middle if you prefer. I use the start of the grass on the left hand side as it hits the edge of my screen, and once again I'm going to brake in a straight line. Okay, nice easy straight line. I start to release the brakes, turn in, click the curb, accelerate really early here. It's slightly cambered, so it will benefit from early acceleration because the car will just grip that a little bit more. We're going to head towards the S's then, and on the left-hand side, it's the brake marker. I've been using the entirety of its existence here at Dragontrail Seaside, the orange painted barrier there on the left-hand side. As that hits the edge of your screen, you're going to dab the brakes and turn in. You want to let the car roll a little bit. You want to clip the inside curb, and hopefully the car will then get pulled around a little bit more. Notice I'll try to let the car roll. I had to actually trail brake a little bit more than normal. As I go through this right, you want to clip it, don't go over it. And then we're up to 5th gear. Again, clip it, don't go over it. If you go over it at any point, it'll just force the nose of the car to go up, and then that will cause you to crash or understeer wildly out of control. Right, we head towards Cruise Corner then, as Lady Tidge has called it. And on the left-hand side, to start the curb here is a good brake marker. Some of you are going, Tidge, use the 150 board. You could use the 150 board, but I prefer to start the curbs, which is why I've highlighted it right there for you. Again, brake in a straight line. Strong straight line. I don't know why it's strong straight line, but a straight line. And then start to release it and clip the curb there. As you accelerate, don't go 100% straight away. Let the power build up. Let the wheels get some grip there. Then go full throttle. We're going to head through the chicane now. How do you do the chicane? Well, you can do it flat, but it's so hard to do it flat. I recommend a slight lift. Notice I lift a tiny bit. I clip the insides. Don't go on the inside of the first part of the curb there at the chicane. Otherwise, it will bounce you into the second, as we saw in the race. Well, I made it through there. I'm going to head towards the final corner. On the left-hand side, then, is the edge of a mountain on the left-hand side, or a cliff, whatever you want to call it. That is my brake marker. You could use a 100 board and use it as a bit of a distance marker if you prefer, but I actually love the edge of that cliff on the left-hand side. I think it's the perfect brake marker. Now, you want to aim towards the corner a little bit for this one, so you're braking a straight line, but towards the corner, so you've pointed, then hit the brakes 100%. We released it. We start accelerating out of the corner. Once again, be careful of the rear of this car. You may get light and then lift up, and then you get some oversteer, so just be careful of that power oversteer. That's it for Dragontrail Seaside. Then we're going to jump to Daily Race C now, where I'm in the Genesis, which isn't actually the best car to be in, but nobody knew what car to be in this morning. If you were very early in the morning, you'd have seen the leaderboards all over the place. And we're doing 10 laps here. Watkins Glen. It's a full circuit. It's a rolling start, racing hard tyres, ×2 fuel, ×2 tyre wear, and you can adjust that brake balance. Notice there's no asterisk next to the racing hard tyres. That's because you don't have to stop. It's an all-out sprint race, 10 laps. We've used this track 13 times. Drag car combo 4 times. It's not in the top 10 used combos, although it is starting to push towards that. We last used this track on the 27th of January. Slipstream chaos. There is a lot of slipstream in here, as you will see in the race. And track limits can be annoying at times, but I would argue they are fair as well. But you just want to abuse those track limits just that little bit more to gain that little bit of extra time. Even so, I'm in the Genesis for this particular race, but the lap guide will be in the NSX. Let's jump into it now and let's have a look exactly what happens. Right, here we are then with the final race. We've got a Porsche in pole position. And as you can see, nobody had any idea what was the best car. Now, if you are enjoying this video, as always, make sure you give it a like, subscribe to the channel to stay in touch with all the latest content, including this weekly race guide every single week. Now, we're catching up to this Alfa Romeo very quickly of TCR Kemp, but there's no point going for the overtake in towards turn number 1. If the car's slow in the straight, we'll get him on the straight right here. Look at that. We get a good run on the exit. We're going to beat it down the inside here of that Alfa Romeo, and we are already up to P13. Now, I mentioned in the key statistics for this race, slipstream is going to cause chaos. And the reason for that is it brings all the cars much closer together, much closer together. And what that does brings chaos to the race because everyone's so close. Side-by-side action is guaranteed here. Now, Radeon there just gets it slightly wrong here, or Radeon, as we go in towards this left-hander. And look at this, round the outside. Quite happy with that move, if I'm brutally honest with you. So we'll leave there in P12, and we're going to fast forward a little bit here. 5 seconds towards the race leader. Oh, hello, somebody is off the circuit there. That is Kentish Gent. I have no idea what happened then. They chose the NSX, so which turned out to be the right car. So lap number 2, here we go. Then got Max Power looking to get a move done on Muscaffi in that Alfa Romeo. Going down the inside, though, I nearly tagged Max Power there. That would have been my mistake there if I'd have done that. And I would have had to relieve the position. Fortunately, Max Power saw it, continued on, and I'd managed to stop the car just in time. So into the right we go, then you can see this. All the cars are bunching up now. I'm P11, but only 4.5 seconds off the race lead. That's how close this race actually is. And this is what you will experience this week with this daily race. So is that a nice daily race? There's just no strategy without the tyre change. There really isn't. But we continue on through here, very close to that rear of that Porsche Cayman GT4 car as we head towards fast left and right. We're just going to fast forward a little bit more here to get to the race in action. Max Power a little bit sideways on the exit of turn number 1. What we're going to do now is bump draft Max Power. And what I've got in my head at least here is that if I can bump draft the Porsche, I reckon we can get past some of these other cars, the Evos, the Alphas. They're all a bit slower on the straight, top end wise, compared to other cars. So Max Power's going to go down the inside here. You can see Muscaffi in the Alpha there. I know it's a very slow car in a straight line, just due to the high downforce it's got. We're going to try and head down the inside here as well. Side by side into the chicane. Very hard to do here. Up ahead, you can see Max Power just gets it slightly wrong. Manages to avoid Muscaffi, and we get both positions in the end. So 2 for 1 in the chicane. Happy days indeed here as we continue through this right-hander. You can still see we've not really lost that much time. 4.3 seconds off the lead. Still a long way to go in this race, bearing in mind we are on lap number 3. We continue on through the left-hander then, and what we will do is fast forward a little bit more then, as Brown Banana up ahead has a penalty. Penalty is going to be big here in terms of cost, just due to how close the race is. We're 4 seconds off the lead now, just under 4 seconds. We're P8 as we go into this right-hander. Muscaffi defending that inside line. We're going to head towards the left-hander up ahead. Once again, I'm going towards the outside, but we fast forward to lap number 4 because nothing changes here as we go through turn 1. One thing's on my mind, and it's what I said just before. The Alfa Romeo is very slow in a straight line, so Muscaffi actually gives it up here. Lets me continue on through. Maybe see some of my speed, wanting to use me to catch up to the pack ahead. I don't know. We're only 3.9 seconds off the lead here, so very much beneficial to Muscaffi in that situation. So a big thank you there. And what you're going to see here is me flash the indicators there just to say thank you. And a flash there from Muscaffi as well to say, go, go, go. I want to follow you. Unfortunately, Muscaffi didn't keep up there. We do catch up to Hoggy, though, here in the Genesis. So, chose the same car as me as we continue on up here. Hoggy once again goes towards the left-hand side. So, maybe seeing I've got some pace here. We're only 2.7 seconds off the lead right now. And Hoggy's going to let me go. Once again, I will flash the indicators and Hoggy's going to flash away to go. Now, weirdly, I've no idea why, Sammy Snake decides to go in the pits in the Porsche Cayman. Maybe thought there was a stop or needed to stop here, but that's not the case. I read the rules beforehand. And this is also why I do the weekly race guide here, so like you can see that you don't have to pit and it's just a flat-out race. So if you do, I will let you know. And then you've got all the information and there's nothing hidden away there. I'm going to continue on through here then, fighting for P3. The leaders are up ahead, but they're continuing to accelerate away now. Nath chose the NSX. Oh, a big penalty there, actually, for the Hungarian driver. So we are now up into P4. So we're going to be fighting for P2 in this race right now. The NSX driver up ahead, sprinting away, actually out the slipstream, which is really beneficial for them as we continue towards the final corner here. And let's see what we can do in this race then. Oh, they hit the barrier. That's not good. That's very common to do as well. Understeering into the barrier on that last corner as we head down towards turn 1. We're on the inside here, so it's worthwhile doing this if there is a car ahead. If there's a car ahead, you can make this work. I've got to give room on exit though, and that's exactly what I'm going to do here for Villa. As we continue on through then, and we head onto this long straight where slipstream is going to be an advantage. Hoggy there gives me a bit of a bump draft. So what I'm going to do here to actually say thank you to Hoggy is stay towards the right side a bit more here. So Hoggy gets that slipstream and can continue on through as well. We both benefit from that situation, and that allows Hoggy then to also fight for this P2 position then as we head towards the chicane. Can't really go anywhere here. It would be really, really dangerous to go for that lunge as we go through here then. So staying in P3 right now, lap number 8. And as you can see, the racing has stayed constant throughout this race. So it's a good daily race if you want the racing. If you want the racing, it's right here. Arguably, the slipstream is causing a bit too much chaos because it's very hard to break away. As you see here, Blue Racer there just got a bit of understeer. Had to lift off there. Allows us to go on the inside. And we're going to talk about the breaking away in a second because I'm on the inside of Blue Racer right now and I really need to get ahead. But let's see what we can do. In towards the right-hander we go. Still side by side. Got to give some room on the exit there. Hoggy's right behind. We've got the GTR that took the penalty earlier on right at the back of this pack. So we effectively got P6 in this fight as well. As we go through this left-hander, had to get a very wide line here. Hoggy tries to get on the inside. Doesn't quite work there. Blue Racer maintains position then. And we've only got 2 laps to go. So we're going to start the penultimate lap right now then. You see Hoggy's just give me a bit of bump draft. Racing very smart here, Hoggy. Trying to play a bit of strategy here, where to position the car, etc. And as we go up here then, what's going to happen? Well, I go towards the right side here. Hoggy gives me a bit of a bump draft. Hoggy's going to try and follow me through then to get up into P3. And I know on the next lap, Hoggy's going to fight me. He's not going to want to fight me this lap. He'll want to fight me next lap. So I go over towards the left-hand side. Hoggy does as well. And we're going to go onto the brakes into the chicane. And I need to break away. I really need to break away here. But do I break away is the question. I don't. They're 3/10 of a second behind me right now. The leader's gone. The leader's absolutely gone. But 3/10 of a second is not enough of a gap. And you're going to see Hoggy and Blue Racer start to catch up to me very, very, very quickly. So this... it's a bit too strong, let's be honest with you, this slipstream. Hoggy goes towards the left. Blue Racer, look at how fast Blue Racer comes along. I'm in the middle here. Reverse Moses maneuver as we head towards the chicane. Blue Racer gets a 2 for 1 there. Well played with that move from Blue Racer. And I'm back down to P4. However, the last lap, isn't it? So we've got a lot of fighting to go here then. We can still get back up into P2. We certainly can do this. So let's see what happens, shall we? So we continue through the right here. We're going to head towards the left-hander. So it's very easy to send it down the inside. Hoggy goes down the inside there. Slight tag on Blue Racer. Lets Blue Racer go a little bit there. That's good to see. And then I bump drafted Hoggy as well. So Blue Racer is going to get the advantage to remain in P2. All's fair there. We continue on towards this right-hander. I'm going to look on the inside of Hoggy. Can't really get on the inside. The GTR's joining the fray now, as well as Villa still in that Porsche. As we continue on out here, the bot's looking quite good here at the moment, but that NSX is very strong. I jumped into it afterwards, and I improved my lap very quickly indeed compared to this Genesis. We're going to head towards this right-hander then. Blue Racer defending the inside line. We're on the inside of Hoggy then. Got to make sure I don't hit Hoggy there as we continue on out of here. Blue Racer now on the left-hand side. Hoggy's over towards the right, so I go towards the left-hand side. Look at this. This is fantastic racing from Blue Racer, Hoggy, and arguably myself as well, looking to try and gain advantage. Now Gary behind looking as well. Hoggy's looking down the inside for this left-hander. Very hard to do this. He's going to go for it. No backs out of it. Could see the understeer potentially going to happen there. And Blue Racer remains in P2. The final corner of the final lap. Here we go then. We clip the inside curve. We accelerate out of here then. What's going to happen here? Hoggy's got the run as we head towards the line. I'm not going to move anywhere, but is Hoggy going to get a position? That's the question. No, not quite. But what a fantastic race that was. Really was good indeed, and I've given this race a 7.5 out of 10. It's just missing a strategy with the pit stop, etc. But the racing arguably is very good, but the slipstream is a cause of that racing as well. There's a track guide then. Let me tell you how to do this circuit. You see my brake balance on the right hand side. We're going to head towards turn number 1, and on the left hand side between the 3 and the 200 board, the arm code goes from 4 layers to 3 layers, and I want you to brake where that transition happens. Okay, so perfect brake marker for this one, and I want you to brake in a straight line on the left hand side. And when you release the brakes and turn in, you need to make sure you turn fully through this. Don't go straight again. Abuse the curb on the inside and accelerate out. Now you are going to have to be careful of track limits. So the red and yellow curb in there, or red and orange, depending on the color on your screen right now, is the limit. So you can have 2 tires on it. You can go a bit more left than I am right now, but if you go 4 wheels off that curb, you're going to get a time penalty, and therefore the lap's going to be invalidated. So we continue on up here then. Nothing to really talk about there. It's all flat out. And what we're going to do is head towards the bus stop chicane. Now for the bus stop chicane, we're looking for the 300 board on the left-hand side. Okay, that's a really good brake marker for this corner. Yes, you could brake a bit later and try the Marshall hook, but then you're taking chances with really being too aggressive. 300 board, really nice marker. So as it leaves your screen, you're going to hit the brakes. You want to turn in quite early in the NSX. In the Genesis, it's a bit later, actually. And the way you go over this one, you're just bouncing the car with a little bit of throttle. That's all you need to do. If you come completely off the throttle, you're going to get a load of oversteer, which is not very nice in this car, to be honest with you. So just stay a little bit on throttle, and you should be fine. The long right-hander to start the curve there is your brake marker or lift-off marker if you're not carried enough speed through the chicane. Basically, you want to start reducing speed when that hits the edge of your screen. You can see where it is here on Jay's cam. Notice that I'm just dabbing the brakes a little bit. I'm a little bit too tight for this corner right now. I should be a bit further to the left, but even so, I'm going to start accelerating where that escape road is. Normally, I use the marshal box, which I've also highlighted right there. So if you are struggling with this escape road, use the marshal box instead and build up your progression on the lap in order to get back to that escape road as your accelerating marker. Be careful, don't run too wide there. There is a penalty if you're not back on the circuit in time. And the 200 board down the right side is your brake marker. Now, I want you to point towards the apex here and then go 100% on the brakes. Don't 100% brake in a straight line and then try and turn because you'll just get a weird oversteer. Point towards the corner and then 100% brake. You can see that I've just started to turn towards the corner. And notice that I release the brakes then when I want to turn. And I'm staying in third gear. You can go to second if you want and then third gear to get a bit more rotation. But I nailed the corner quite well here. And I stayed in third gear. I'm looking for where that catch fence ends, hitting the center of my screen. As it hits the center of my screen, that's when I'm going to start to accelerate. So the car should get round absolutely fine. Now, in something like the Genesis, you do have to delay your throttle a little bit more. It'll be the same in the GTR. But just keep that in mind. That's a really good accelerating marker you can use here at Watkins for that corner. Now, the 100 board on the right-hand side is your next brake marker. In the NSX, you want to keep to this corner very tight indeed, a very tight line. I tried the wide line, doesn't really work. The tight line, you gain so much from it. Because this car just rotates nicely and turns nicely, it's the best thing to do. So I'm going to brake, go to second gear, start to release the brakes. Notice how tight I keep it there. That marshal box there, that is your accelerating marker. Now, I'm not accelerating right now because I've got a tight line, but judge your acceleration based on where that marshal box is. So it's just gone past the center of my screen. And guess what? I'm about to start accelerating because it's just gone past the center of my screen. You try and do it beforehand, you're going to struggle. Notice there, straight on the throttle. I make it round absolutely fine. And we can continue on now towards the final sector. So for this next corner, there's no real good brake marker. I will be honest with you. There's a couple you can try and pinpoint out. So on the left-hand side, there's a light there that you can use. I was using the 100 board on the right as a bit of a distance marker. You are going to have to really, really focus on your own brake marker for this corner. Arguably, you could just use the Ghost if you do chase the Ghost. I do chase the Ghost in these. You just don't see it because I edit it out. As I go into here then, second gear, clip the curb. The curbs are very helpful here. They will pull you around the circuit. Be careful on exit there. You can suffer track limits. And on the right side there, we have a dead tree. Now, I use that as my brake marker. You could use a 100 board instead, but it's just before you get to that 100 board as your brake marker. Say, dead tree as it disappears off the edge of my screen. Perfect marker. Now, as you come into this one, again, you want to point towards the corner a little bit and then go 100% on the brakes, then start to release it here as you go around. Marshal box right in the center. A bit harder to see this one, but it is there. That is your accelerating marker. When you see that get to the very center of your screen, hit your right foot down or accelerate forward. Whatever you input you're using, okay? Accelerating marker, you accelerate out of this corner. You may suffer a tiny bit of power oversteer. Just be careful of that. Continue on out of here then to start the final sector here at Watkins. And on the left-hand side, we have the 100 board. That is your turning marker and maybe a lift-off marker. It depends what car you're in. Now, for the NSX, it is a lift-off marker. I turn in, lift off a little bit. I need to clip the inside curb. On these final two corners, you have to clip the curb. It will pull you around that little bit more and it'll just help you. Notice that I lift, I clip, and then accelerate through. Head over towards the left-hand side here, and this one you're going to have to brake for. So we've got the tyres that end into the Armco. This is your brake marker, but it's just a dab of the brakes and chuck it in. Sometimes you want to go to third gear. Sometimes you want to stay in fourth gear. It depends how fast you do this corner. I think I stay in fourth gear for this particular lap, and that's what I advise you do as well as we go into here. No, see, I dropped third and then back to fourth because I got it slightly wrong. You can do it in just fourth, though, and I definitely did lose a mile an hour there in terms of that corner. We head towards the line then. That's a 53.2. You can follow the Ghost on this one. Just look for that time on the leaderboard, and it will be right there. We jump to some bloopers then, and we're mainly here at Daily Race B. So as we go through this left-hander, Huggy just touches the curb on the inside, fires the Alfa Romeo off the circuit, and Huggy's going to lose it. Look at that lot. What a group of cars that is. Right, some chicane of death victims. Here we go then. We've got Radion first of all, going through the chicane. And as we go through here, just turned in a bit too late there, and then hits the right-hand side hard there. But we know there was somebody else who also hit the barrier, and that was this driver here, the German. Seems like all black cars are hitting the barrier today. So we go through the left-hander. Oh, clips the left and then the right. Yeah, completely dead there with that one. Right, who's next? Oh, another Why is nobody using liveries in terms of this one? I know I use the standard one, but ones without liveries are apparently dying here. Flips the barrier there. They hit the brakes in the middle of the chicane, and that is the reason why they crashed there, because if you hit the brakes during the chicane, you're definitely into the barrier. It's one of those things. You just want to lift off here. Once again, going through here, Radion suffers it again. Twice in one race. That is very brutal indeed. And we go on board Mario Sonic then for the 5th one here. Well, we know what's going to happen. You know I'm going to hit the barrier, but why did Mario Sonic hit it is the question as we go through here. And, oh, it's like a smoke screen. You couldn't actually see the barrier there. So, sorry, Max Power. That's my bad. Finally, let's go to race C then, where we had Kentish Gent heading towards the last corner. Well, was in the barrier when we saw them. So going through the left-hander. No issues there. In towards the right. Oh, they've clipped the grass. Oh, that's a very common thing to do because you're so focused on that apex on the right-hander. And boom, hits the wall there. Right, folks, that's going to be it for this video then. I do hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, make sure you give it a like. Subscribe to the channel to stay in touch with all the latest content. But that is going to be it for me. Check out those partners down below. 2 videos there to check out. And remember, Plebs of the Week submissions. Do make sure you check out the description for either a Pleb of the Week or if you've had some fantastic racing, get that in there as well. And I'm going to demonstrate some of the very best. Now, if your clips don't get used, I still appreciate the submission. But as always, big thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in another video or live stream again very soon.